Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever we are joining in from. We'll give ourselves a minute or two before we get started. Wow, we have some great attendees, attendee list. Thank you, everyone, for making it to the launch event. First of all, I think it's a very, very proud moment, and it's a very important day in our journey at Ascent. And I sincerely appreciate all of you joining in, and for people who've been very supportive throughout our journey and life at Ascent. We'll take a couple of minutes to see if some more people can join in, and we'll get started. In the meanwhile, I'll do a quick round of introduction to the team here. First of all, my name is Kundan Shekhawat. I'm the founder and CEO. I am joining you all from Toronto downtown, right in the heart of the city, underneath CN Tower. So it is great weather here, great atmosphere. Martin, my colleague, is sitting just right next to me in the same office. We have Shashi, who leads our Middle East regional efforts. He's based in Dubai. We have Arindam, who is our technology brain, Chief Information Officer, Innovation Officer. Logged in, Sajid, who's been with us for a very long time. He's the brain behind the product and the customer management. We have Pushkar. Pushkar is, manages the entire customer success, partner management, very important member of the team. So look forward, the team is here and would be happy to address any questions, but let's get started. I hope everyone can see my screen. So why this launch is so critical, and what is AutoBCM? What are we doing in this space in operational resilience? Where do we stand? We're going to maybe take a little memory lane and a story around who we are, what are we doing, what is an impact that we are creating in the industry. As a small core team, very passionate in the space of operational resilience, continuity management, crisis management, the governance, risk, compliance elements, touching some of those very key elements about it. We've been in the industry for a reasonably long time. We are seeing different journeys, pre-pandemic era and last 2 years, and now the world seems to have absolutely changed upside down post-pandemic. And, not just the world has changed, but then the way we used to live in the world has absolutely changed 360 degree. We've already seen, you met the team, but please feel free to connect, reach out. We'll come back again once we finish the presentation. What we are going to be doing today is showing you a live product, talking about some of the key challenges in the industry, some of the technology innovation that we've gone through. So we'll touch upon different subjects and we'll be very open to taking questions. Moving in from, the traditional typical BCM to operational resilience. So let me give you an anecdote about my own personal background. I was a BS 25999 lead auditor back in the days in early 2000. And it essentially was a business continuity management, BS 25999. And today, what we talk about, different ISO 22301 standard, all the other regulations that are all coming out as recent as the UK regulation on operational resilience. I think the theme of what was taught and what it is, nothing changes. It has become a very action-based, action-oriented, outcome-based model where technology is playing a very key role in handling disruptions. Technology itself has become a very key risk as part of an ongoing doing business. No business can sustain without technology. And some of the messaging being drawn up at a regulation level in operational resilience talks about having an automated continuity or some sort of a continuity management across the functions, which means, small or big, no matter what size and shape of organization you are, everybody is doing that. I hope my screen is visible, and I am on the slide number 2. If not, I can just...
Then seems like the screen is stuck. Can you probably reproject it?
Sure. Is this better?
Yeah. Yes, now we can see the slide. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep it this way. I was trying to make it a full screen glow, but I'll keep it this way. So the whole operational resilience element now makes it enforce organization of all size and shape to start adopting, resilience strategy in their own framework. A lot of organizations are still continuing to do it manually, and that's going to be a big change because you can't manage a technology disruption by a manual way of doing it. So automation would play a role in here. At the same time, it requires organizations to adopt some sort of an automation. Really doesn't mean a software, or you can have your own APIs, you can have your own structured methodologies to be able to do that. And this is how we step in, and we're trying to make the new gen platform that we are going to be releasing and talking about it, showing it in a couple of minutes from now, would see how we can best help create the right value for you. Some of the current software challenges and the problems that we all have seen, and anybody from the industry can talk about it, would be, we are not very far from the era of a 3-tier architecture for our product platform, the ERPs of the world, SAPs, Oracle deployments, long gestation cycle, very, very long implementation deployment time period. You buy a license and then you go into a customization, heavy duty customization, make it suit to your needs. Integrations are always a challenge. How one conduct their business continuity planning, the business impact analysis, every organization is different, every industry is different. So the long deployment cycle has been one of the core of the biggest challenges that organizations see. And we'll show you around in the coming slides on how we have addressed that. Very high cost to onboard a platform. Again, high cost in terms of dollar. Very difficult to get a management buy-in at the same time, and a high maintenance cost. You have a sole dependency on the vendor or the solution provider to come and make changes, and everything's going to cost a lot more. One of the biggest challenge would be your multiple very different methodologies being adopted. To name a few, you may have your own internal BCM methodology, your more BCI way of doing it, your DRI way of doing it, or some third-party way of doing it. Those continues to be challenged. So the standardization across in the methodologies is a big challenge, and we've somehow tried to address that piece as well. A lot of tools and technologies do not address the impacts calculations. If a process goes down or something happens, how do you quantify in a dollar term? What do you mean? What have you lost in a dollar? So the impact calculation of how much of an impact has it because of a supplier, of a location in a quantifiable way has not been in place. Of course, complex integrations are no-brainer. Integrations with your Active Directories, third-party systems, third-party supplier systems, a lot more internal ERP, SAP systems continues to be a big challenge. And language barrier, although this has been specific in certain cases in South of America, we talk about certain parts of the Middle East as well, and in Asia where Japan, China, language has been a constraint for a lot of organizations to not being able to adopt standard off-the-mill, off-the-run platforms. So we're going to take a little poll before we move forward, and before I get into the whole multi-tenant SaaS approach on what we've been able to do. So on your screens, in a couple of seconds, you're going to see what is your biggest challenge for implementing BCM automation in your organization. And you can pick up we're kind of running into about a few seconds, 60 seconds, and we will all see the results of the poll coming in here. Please choose whatever best describes your challenge. Very interesting so far. All right. I think we're there. Uh, Hands down, I think more than 40% is coming out to be long implementation timeline cycle, uh, which of course is crazy. So, and high cost and running in 27%. Third would be ability to incorporate your methodology or individual responsibility. So it looks like we're doing very well in the C-level sponsorship. So that is a good thing. Long implementation cycle is a big takeaway. More than 40% people think that this has been their challenge, and followed by high cost of the market solutions. And we will try and cover these two elements as well in a little bit more detail. Here's a very interesting slide that I want to talk about, which is transitioning to SaaS. I'll take a little bit of our journey from a couple of years when we were a 3-tier architecture. We would go take customers' requirement, multiple customers' requirement, and go the route of making the system meet the requirement, and so systems would be hard coded. We don't, customer would not know what they want in terms of the requirement, because each customer has their own specific requirements and expectations being set out to what they want to accomplish. Are they going with the governance risk compliance route? Are they going to just mitigate their risk, key risk assessments? Or are they interested in automating a complete automated continuity and crisis management, plus the long cycle deployment? So first is the requirements were not so clear. Second, the implementation cycles are so very long because this code system will not accept any changes on the fly. So we took on the journey in the middle of pandemic, and in fact, the start of pandemic, to transition and pivot ourselves as a business to move in from a traditional tech company or a business platform into purely a true SaaS platform. Now, somebody may say, you know what, every web-based solution is a SaaS solution. Yes, it is. Any solution that can come on the cloud, can be hosted on the cloud, is a SaaS solution. Technically, yes. But the SaaS solution essentially means you don't have to go into a long wait time to say, hey, we are setting up your system. How is it that we could accomplish a one-click, single-click deployment? And it wasn't an easy journey. When each of the code being written by a team, and there are people in our organization which we're very proud of. Over the years, I think we have gone through a continuous research and development program. We have gathered a lot of analysis and inputs from different customers, partners within our own research unit, the business analyst function team or an SME team, who have put together more futuristic elements and ways on adopting and incorporating that feedback. And when today we say, what is a true SaaS? For us, it's a multi-tenant, single-click deployment. And we're going to show that to you in action in just a few more minutes. That essentially means you don't have to go anywhere, don't need to reach out. You can do it all by yourself. And you would be as good as using, this is your platform. It's not that we have given you an instance and that's not, it is your instance. You can start using it day one right there. And then it's all about configurability, which every tool, even if you sign up for a Microsoft, CRM 360, you got to learn a little bit about the configuration, which means we have made it so simple that you could be able to configure it to yourself if you are a SME, if you are a BCM consultant, if you have a knowledge of a little bit about how those methodologies work, if you are some certification done, you know how to conduct BIAs, risk assessments, and all of that, you could do it all by yourself. Multilingual is a very key element. There are a lot of regions where this is a high in demand. English works most of the places, but that's also a key thing. All methodologies in a single platform. Now, that is the hard thing to crack in. Very difficult, because around the world, there are hundreds and thousands of methodologies being adopted. And it's like there is no one tool or a software which can solve all problems. But what we have tried to do is maximize our bandwidth so that this platform can absorb as many methodologies as possible. And a glimpse of that we'll be able to show it to you today on the degree of adoption, degree of configurability, the ease of use, and all of that. One of the very important things that I, particular as a chief executives and proud of the solution would be a connector library. We have been able to incorporate the ones that an SAP, Oracle, or the large firms, IBM, and would charge heavy duty thousands of dollars or a couple of $1 million just to connect to a few of these critical, integration points. We're calling it as absolutely complementary, out of the box, readily available connector library. So we will take up which are the ones which are available and part of the connector library, show it to you as well. And finally, I think the whole platform in true sense for a SaaS release is a highly intuitive and intelligent platform. It's not just a repository. It is not a workflow. It is not a report given. It's an action-based. When a crisis happens, this tool will come handy to anybody who's part of crisis communication management, continuity management, resilience management, incident management, emergency response team. And I think that was the one which I took a little while. But just to cover and go into action a little bit more in detail, what we're going to do is, Sajid, why don't I bring you in and talk a few before jumping into the product itself.
Thank you, Kundan. So, hi everyone. The solution that we are going to talk about today, AutoBCM.
Sajid, you've got to be a little louder, I guess, little feeble voice coming up.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Great. So the thing that we want to talk about AutoBCM now is, we looked at the challenges, the long implementation cycles, the different methodologies, the multilingual capabilities. Now to bring all of these in a single solution was a huge task. And to be able to design this and be successful, we will do it. Our team is proud of it. In the next few slides, you will see us providing a solution to each of the challenges that is there. And today we can talk about it in a way that I'll pick up the biggest challenge that was pulled now, the long implementation cycle. And the reason why people have done BCM manually was precisely for that reason, because when a decision is made to implement BCM, time is of essence. And creating a template would probably be about 15 days to a month time, and implementing an automation solution would be about 3 to 6 months of time. So people went with a solution which is faster to implement. But then we are changing that today. We are disrupting that market position today, because now your solution is available in minutes. It is faster than you implementing a manual BCMS. And that's why we want people to look at this solution seriously, going into the operations of resilience, trying to solve all the problems that today was stopping you from going for automation in a single solution. I'm not going to talk about any specific anymore. Let's talk about all the challenges that have been mentioned in the slides that's going to come for next. So moving into the first one, the high cost of automation. Kundan, you want to talk about that?
Sure. If I may touch, we're all software geeks, technology people, and we know the industry. Everybody knows it. A similar platform could cost a couple of $100,000 or $1 million. But, for us, we're all passionate industry folks, people who've been there, done that, and who understand the market need and the dynamics. So this was an area where we purposely worked on the last couple of years before arriving to this point on saying, how can we make it more affordable? How can we address this point? And this came up as a second point in the poll. It's saying the high cost of automation is extremely a very, very important decision point for organizations to start adopting resilience. And, for us, it is a framework. The design of the whole platform is such that, people within our team, which is engineers and all of that, every piece of the code has been done by us. We are not relying on any third-party stuff. So the high cost of automation, we brought it down to such an affordable state that anybody could come, any shape of an organization, size of an organization, come and adopt it, and then take on the journey. Of course, the larger enterprise versions could be $100,000 plus, depending on specific configurations, high-end integration that they may have to do. But we still would be a lot more affordable compared to how the market is, how the market is behaving, how the market is moving, how the competition is talking about it. We are here to create value, generate value, and bring a little disruption from a technology standpoint and the solution offering in how the market is moving. Just to continue on the language barrier, yes, it's an important one, but yeah, we made it very easy. We will show you the couple of languages already available, but it's a very simple enablement that one has to do to use this in any language. Ability to implement your BCM methodology, and I think we'll get into, Sajid, you take over, and then we'll jump into the real action here, going into the walkthrough.
So talking about the methodologies, I think let's finish this couple of slides. So the methodologies you talk about today, people have a particular way of doing BIA. Somebody do it at process level in maturity in details. Somebody does it at a very high level at department levels. Even within the organization, some departments prefer doing it for all the locations together. Somebody wants to create different BIAs at different location levels. Even your impact calculation, which is the slide next, people have different ways of calculating impact metrics. Some do it on a percentage basis, some do it on weightage, some do it on thresholds, some even do it manually. Now, to bring all of that in a single platform is a solution that we thought of. And today we have a same solution which can be used for multiple methodologies, multiple impact metrics. And in fact, all of those can be implemented in a single solution as well. While we see that in the demo, just remember this point, we have this covered.
Sure. And I'll probably just take a quick talk on the tech architecture integration. This is a connector library where we have a lot of integrations being done, which is out of the box, readily available. Customers or anybody wanting to adopt does not need to spend any integration money or a configuration customization investments at all. They come ready handy. This is a very, very powerful sort of a kitchen that the tech kitchen, as you know, Arindam runs on our team. And the recipe, the toppings are the key here. Now, these are the toppings we talk about. AccuWeather, our partners, MidCat, our other partners in emergency mass notification, ready off-the-shelf integration points available. Talk about Slacks, Teams, WhatsApp. All of these are ready off-the-shelf integration point for somebody to adopt it. Of course, there are different instances and standards from a price points that will come with it. But customers will not have to struggle to get a single platform and struggle in terms of finding where the integrations are, not have to wait for a year, 6 months of long implementation time. Everything is quick, a turnaround, as quick as getting your own instance right away, as you can imagine, in a click of seconds, which is what is coming next, to show how simple is the onboarding process. It is as simple as clicking two buttons and having your own instance ready. Right now, we have an OTP and authentication, dual authentication mechanism. At the same time, we have a little added security layer so that we do our KYC and authentication check before we create those instances and give it out to you. As we build our own, call it as KYC and AML, we are going to be removing that layer in a couple of weeks and months after some sort of a regulation and the feedback. But for now, you may have to go through an authentication channel, which is what Sajid will move next and jump into the slide. But happy to take any questions on technology. We have Arindam here. I can talk about what our preparation recipe has been over the years, what our R&D journey has been, what processes do we follow. There's a very clear roadmap ahead of ourselves in how the product will shape up in the next couple of years, how the regional and the market dynamics are changing, from a resilience, operational resilience, all the newer standards coming up. So we're very tuned in, and we'll be very competitive around across the world in the domain that we're in. Sajid, over to you. Let's get into a walkthrough. And this is the real exciting, fun time. This is what I guess everybody's been waiting for. Why don't we hand it off to you? Create show everybody the onboarding process, whatever you can talk about it. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it off to you.
Thank you, Kundan. So let me share my screen. And We're going to talk about and show each and every challenges that we've talked about and how does it solve. So first of all, the long deployment cycle, right? You go to a website and at a click of a button, you have your instance ready. This is why you subscribe. We have the standard version now ready-made with all the basic templates for all your BCM lifecycle. You click on this button and it opens these things for you. All you have to do is, I'll just put my name here. I put my email ID here. I put my company name here. And then I decide the URL for my site. And I'll just go with my company currently. It'll do a quick check. It'll just do a very quick check to see whether that domain name is available. You do this, click here. You get an email for your domain. Let me just quickly put that OTP here. Let's stop this share once for a second. Let me do a very quick email. I just have to quickly go to my email to get the OTP. I'm sharing my screen back now. You get an email like this to tell you your OTP. Simply copy it, put it back here, the OTP, and your solution is ready in few minutes. Now, coming about while it just gets it ready, now just imagine if you were to even implement a BCM manually, you would have to decide on your BIA template, your risk assessment templates, your BCP templates, your testing templates, you would have to work around, but not anymore. You have all of these ready, where at a single click, you have all of these ready. Your password would come to you like this with the URL and the instance. All that you have to do now is sign in and your instance is ready. You have your BIAs here, you have your risk assessment, continuity planning, testing, reporting, system admin, everything is ready. Now, this is the thing that we were talking about. We have a SaaS, you pay and you start using it within minutes rather than waiting for months together to implement a solution. I'll take a pause for any question anybody may have as of now, before we see the actual solution in action now. Any question?
Sure. Thank you, Sajid. And if I may jump in here and talk about this particular piece of onboarding process. Now, that is in our definition of SaaS. Of course, the industry SaaS SaaS could be termed as any web system on the cloud is a SaaS system, which is true. But the real SaaS is how fast, what is a multi-tenancy capability? Can you do it without coming to us or any player, any vendor, solution provider? Absolutely, yes. You don't need us. You could just subscribe. We have it on the website. If you can, Sajid, go to the website as well and show the link around the same time. You will be able to go on the website and just subscribe, click on it, and you'll be able to see different variants of packages. But this is an early adopter version that we are releasing. It's a beta plus, well tested. You can go and try this out. At the end of this, there is a small announcement that we'll talk about to see how many people would be interested, but we are going to be making a very significant announcement to onboard partners, customers, BC consultants, crisis management consultants who can use it in their day-to-day life, and making it so disruptive and easy and affordable that it does become a no-brainer for us. So that's our value or a contribution to the industry that we are trying to bring in. The same thing could be quoted or priced as hundreds of $1,000s or whatever that means. But then we'll go a little bit deeper into, this was just an onboarding process, a journey, saying how easy it is to set up. Once you're in, Sajid, back to you to show around a few of those components.
Now let's look at the solution itself, right? So this is your login page. But more importantly, you will have your company name with your URL. So whatever name I created with Ascent, I have Ascent here. You have your company, you create with your own company. Now you log in into the system. See, I already logged in. Just give me a second here. Just let me go back.
Can we take any questions in the meanwhile? Is there any questions?
Yeah, I see.
Can a company, okay, I see a question. If you can get a trial for a month to explore, absolutely yes. We could get you a trial. There is a trial option there. Do you have a DR for your setup? Yes. In an enterprise version, yes. So this version that we are talking about is the standard version, but we have a DR setup for the enterprise version.
Kundan, there is also one more question from Shalan. He's asking if it is available only cloud, or can this be deployed on their own data center?
Shala, it is both options are available. The model remains the same, whether you take a private cloud. So we have a lot of customers, financial institutions, and regulators who are using their own private cloud for deployment purposes. We're happy to do it both in premise as well as cloud, but it's just cheaper that way on the cloud.
Great. So this is a solution. You log in and you see a solution. Now let's understand. So far you've seen the journey of deployment. Now also see how easy it is to set up initially. You come here.
Maybe Sajid, if you can talk about what this looks like. What is the screen? What is all happening here? The main dashboard.
Absolutely.
What are the key metrics?
That's the dashboard showing all the KPIs. But let me start with the journey by showing them how easy it is, and I'll end this with the dashboard. So coming to the company, this is where you set up your Ascent. You have your own company here, you have your own logo, and the system will put in the logo for you. So this becomes a very personalized solution for each one of you. Coming next, the labels. You would have seen us putting all those standard verbiatims in the templates. Now, if you find any of them, if you wish to change it, you simply go here and you change it. If you don't want a description, if you want it as comments, change it to comments, and this will turn to comment in the template. Talking about the languages, you saw it in English. Now, a global organization would need to use multiple language across the geography. The same solution has multilingual capability. You saw it in English now. Let's see the Chinese version. Okay, yeah. If you want anything else, let's look at the Arabic version. The system even changes from left to right to left because of the language. You wish to change it now from Arabic to say French, it changes to French language. And believe me, it's the same instance. The inside data remains the same. The label is changing for making it convenient for everybody to adopt. From French, you wish to go to Spanish, it is available in Spanish as well. Coming back to English is again just a click away. And this is for each user. So each user can decide a language of their own comfort and can work on this solution in the language that they feel comfortable with. Talking about the comfort level, even the org structure, right? We have all your locations geotagged. If you have an office, say at Burj Khalifa, simply the system will take you there, put it into the Google mapping, and this tagging helps you get all the early warning alerts, all the intelligence around this location, because the locations are geotagged. And integrations are very easy. Any early warning system you integrate, it will be able to give you location specific alerts. Now the other is a simple org structure. This is like what a normal org structure would look like for any organization. You would have your departments, you would have some departments, some going up to level 3 and 4, even 5, 6, some ending at level 1 and 2. The challenges with organizations have been, how do I implement BIA at different levels? Not anymore. You come to our template, to come to AutoBCM, you want a BIA at this level, you simply assign a BIA at this level with a workflow that you can define n number of it. You want a BIA at this level, assign this department to it. It allows you a multi-level BIA at any level in the organization. There is no restriction into the number of layers you want and at what layer you want the BIS to happen. Coming back to the methodology that we were talking about. Now understand, we were initially talking about BIA having different templates. So you probably have some location level, some people do a BIA for each location, some organization implement at for departments, some multi-location level, some even do a very matured one where for each process and activity, they do a complete BIA cycle of collecting the impact, mapping the dependencies, getting the resources, doing single point of failure. In our solution, you can have all of those in a single solution. So our BIA can support multiple templates, multiple impact calculation in a single solution. Now let's look at this solution where it is a process level, where you have your locations, details, and your process level is collecting all the information. For each of your process, you have your impact, your peak times, your dependencies, your resources, your single point of failure. Coming back to another template, which is a department level, you would have to fill all of these information only once, simply because you would have your call trees, your peak times, dependency in a single time, because this is a department level template. Now, if you have your support functions who wants to do a department level BIAs, you give them this template. If you have your operations who want to do a very matured, in detail BIA, doing at all activity, you give them the previous template. We have all of those templates implemented. Coming to the impact calculations, as we were talking, some organizations like to do a manual where they do an impact table and select their MTPDs and RTO manually. We have that template available. Some people do it on a percentage where through the impact table, they calculate their MTPD and a percentage of that, they make it the RTO. We have that impact metrics as well. Some people do a weightage average. Some people do it threshold, where at a higher threshold, they calculate their MTPD and at a lower threshold, they calculate their RTO. We have that as well. We also have this implementation of T-1, where the threshold of MTPD or threshold earlier to that becomes your RTO. Now we have even that covered, and there are more. So we have all of these systems, all of these metrics, all of these templates available in a single solution within the same organization in a single instance. If you're trying to cater to different organizations in a single solution, you have this covered. If you're trying to implement multiple methodologies globally because of your regions, you can do this solution. This is a big advantage. Talking about the other important element, which is the risk matrix. Again, our risk matrix have all the risk components covered. And this is what I'm going to show you. Some of the organization have a very simple risk matrix, which has the component of only likelihood and impact. We have that covered. If you want to create a risk matrix, which is quantitative, you're talking about real numbers here, you do that. If you want to include your vulnerability elements to your risk assessment, we have those things covered. If you want to even include your risk velocity and risk value, we have that covered as well. So in a single solution, again, in your risk matrix, you would have all your risk components covered, do whatever risk matrix you wanted, and we have this thing covered. Coming to business continuity plans, all the strategies are available. Be it your displacement, dedicated, work from home, your split site business transfer, manual workaround, and more. You create your own strategies and the system will support that for you as well. So this is on all covering about it. And now coming to the one that Kundan was talking about. Once you have completed this life cycle, our system will actually show you all the key risk indicators. Look at the examples here. You have your overdue BIS being highlighted against what is the compliant, 24 of them. It will show you all your pending activities against what has been covered. It will show you the count of single point of failures that each of your business unit is carrying. You have that count with, again, with how many of them have been mitigated. You will have your RTO conflicts. How many times have organizations faced a challenge where business is demanding a certain recovery time objective against a technology capability of a different thing, but there is no match here. We would be able to bring to you all such conflicts where the demand of the business operation is not met by the current technology capability, be it your RTO or be it your RPO. You would see all your overdue actions, not just do it, you will also see them being escalated. You will see your dependency conflict. Now, this is a very unique feature. A lot of the operations are interdependent. Now, when you're planning about your recovery, you need to understand whether they are available in the time that you need them to be. And this is where our system will come into. It will communicate between the departments, and it will bring out all the gaps where the dependency requirements are not met by for any critical process. You will see your total number of users against the total staff. You will see your critical staff list. So if you need to know who are the people, those are critical to your business, you will be able to get it from the dashboard. And most importantly, while you're putting in controls and mitigating your risk, but you need to see whether they are effective or not. System will bring out to you all the ineffective controls. And together on this, with the integration of early warning system, you will see today what happens is business are resilient by recovery. We want businesses to be resilient by design. And what do we mean by design is we will also be attempting for organizations to be saved from disruptions. For example, today about the adverse weather, when the cyclone hits you, I'm sure most of the organization have a plan as to how will they recover from that disruption. But today here, what we have is we will be giving you inbuilt option available to have this early warning systems available so that you can see a threat which is going to come. Any location which is under say an adverse weather threat, a cyclone threat, or a severe thunderstorm threat, you will get to be highlighted in red. And if you need to see the detail, you simply click on it and it takes you to the detail page of this. This is what our solution will do for you. Let me just go back here. And to come back, let me just put it this on the top.
In the meanwhile, there are a lot of interesting questions that we've been putting on messages, but happy to maybe parallelly take it on, Sajid, if you want to in between and show some of those as well. One question was the BIA interdependencies. BIA integrated with the processes and all of that. Of course, a couple of other ones, Martin or Shashi, if you may want to read out those questions that can be addressed, and some of them may be even shown in the tool by Sajid.
Of course, we love to answer all of that. And to be honest, there's so many features in this that we're just showing you the capability here. We would love to have that session where we will show you each and every capability where the conflicts are even highlighted. Now, just finishing this is not the only dashboard that we have it. If you need to see your graphs into this dashboard, you simply click it here. If you need to see the details of this, you go back and you will see those two overdues. Now, if you want to come back to this early warning system, click in here. This is the system that we have with reporting, testing. We are just launching it. Hope this will solve it. Now, let's look at the questions that we are getting.
Sajid,
yes.
I can read out the questions for you and you can probably take them up. One of the questions asked by Sunil is, how long will it take to deploy AutoBCM on-premise?
So, Sunil,
we are ready as soon as you are ready, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So Sunil, to that point, again, you've seen the configurability element. If the data is there today, the two biggest challenges in any system deployment, and we saw the 40% or more people here voted for longest deployment time is the challenge. So for us, if you have the data ready, then we have the connector or the library wherein we can plug in the data through our own ETL engine and bring the data home into the platform. And that is, otherwise technology is like garbage in, garbage. If the data is good, for us, onboarding the data would be probably, depending on the size and the scale of the data, we're talking about from a minimum couple of weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, to going up to 4, 5. 6 would be very high, 6 weeks. And that's end-to-end deployment because it is ready off the shelf configuration as per your rules, your business rule. How does the plan translate into exercise and testing? Maybe that's your favorite question, Sajid. Why don't you answer that?
So each of your test strategies will automatically move into the testing and exercise module. And you may choose to do all of those strategy testing at a single go, or if you choose, you may do one at a time as well. And then you can assign people, you can change people, you can do a sample testing. All of those configurations are available. Really happy to do a demo for you.
Nate, to address your question on the other one, which is about the configuration and put out the recovery task on a printout from any. It could do it from crisis management application, the mobile application, on the fly, you can give out printouts, send to people, recover, send to your peers, colleagues, or part of the group. So that's how the mobile application is, which is in real crisis, you need action.
And there's one more very important thing that the tool has a capability to do it. You have your task mentioned in your 3 phases of recovery in BCP. During an actual crisis, the system is capable of sending each of those tasks to respective people the moment you declare your BCP. So you don't may have to do that action. We can remind people of their own actions depending on which BCPs have been invoked. So system is an action base. It is not just a repository. It will actually reach out to people and say that this is the action. Please confirm back once the action is over. So this comes from the BCP. Do we have any other questions?
Go on. I think Sajid, if you want to.
I think there's a question on the trial version for a month. Kundan, your question.
Yeah. So let me kind of switch back into. We have a couple of minutes, so we have changed that as. You want to address that question? In the meanwhile, I'll
take that question. Let me just read out the question. If I have changed that has multiple dependencies, will I require to change it only at one place or at multiple areas? Now, again, each department would have their own multiple dependencies. So the conflict report would depend on what is there in the BIA. So if a department is dependent on a single department, yes, they change it once and the system will automatically update that. Hope that answers your question, Brother Ibrahim.
Sure. So this is just coming to the end, while we're going to take more questions. So today we are servicing 100+ enterprise customers. And if I have to maybe make a mention of a few of these customers, some of them are large financial institutions, banks across Europe, Middle East, payment firms in the US, healthcare pharma companies, one of the large vaccine companies as well, one of the 6 vaccine companies. We are talking about customer base of large tech companies with 300,000 people, 80 different countries. And we are getting a couple of more of those customers. So, and the split of the customers is across North America, heavy concentration on Middle East, Africa, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Europe, we're starting to get a lot of traction, and Asia for sure. The user base within the platform, the existing last version, we are going to be migrating or offering migration from the 3.0 version, the previous version, to the new AutoBCM NextGen is going to be there. And, an estimated 250,000 user base currently. Our own team is about 84 employees. Can you see my next slide? If yes, that's the big.
Kundan, there are many more questions. Can we take those questions?
Sure, let's take the questions.
So some of them that I could read between your answers, will it identify the processes during a crisis? Yes, absolutely. I think that was a question. Is your software BCM ISO 22301 2019 certified? We are aligned to that. The solution doesn't give you certification, but yes, we are aligned to that. All your requirements of that standard, especially clause 8 of it, is covered in the solution. The pricing of this, the pricing brochure is available on our website. That's one of the questions that I could see. Any other question that I'm missing out, guys? I'm happy to answer that as well. I could see these 3.
We can send the presentation. Yes, somebody has asked for a presentation. We are happy to send the presentation and be around. Okay, sure. We're kind of more than happy, to have a conversation with you. This is really appreciate you sending this out to us, Ibrahim.
There's a question from Shala saying that for the BIA, if there are connection between processes, whether the processes will identify the criticality of the other process. Yes, if you are a critical process, and if you're calling yourself as non-critical, through this dependency mapping, it will just get called out. Not just your criticality, but also your time sensitivity. How early do you need to be available? So yes, the solution will help you do that.
Right. And Ibrahim, the interdependencies on the process service level, yes, it's absolutely interdependency impact is out there, which Ajit has shown on. I have 2 slides to cover, and those are the important announcements before we finish this. This is very, very overwhelming. We're very thankful for the kind of questions, very mature questions, very intelligent questions coming up. Sajid, we have one for you.
I'm inclined to take that another question. Yes, you can do a site level risk assessment. You can do all kinds of risk assessment, your application, your supplier level, your department level. But to be specific, yes, Sunil, we can do a site level risk assessment using AutoBCM. Thanks, Shashi, for jumping in. Yes, we can send you all of these details.
If you do see my screen, then we are, for all the attendees here, we are going to be offering a complimentary resilience for all sessions, training session, and the BCM awareness training session. Anybody would want to volunteer, we'll send out a separate email, and there's no cost. This is just a complimentary training sessions. Resilience for all essentially covers some sort of a gaming simulation, and the BCM awareness training also is a standard training that we'll cover as absolutely complimentary for people who wish to attend. On the pricing front, I think I'm going to come out with a little big announcement. While the pricing is all given in detail on the website, you can go in and launch from a base price, but anything specific, we're happy to send you price points. All in all, it still would be very disruptive pricing, extremely competitive, affordable, but if hold on the breadth, and then you have this is our major, we are wanting to welcome our first 12 customers to get the first year AutoBCM at like 50% discounted on the base version with the 5 users. Call it as trial. Of course, there is a 15-day trial period. We already have it, but post 15 days for the first 12 customers, it is going to be a no-brainer cost. We wish we could extend it beyond 12 customers. We've done our calculation. Our target is to maybe go a little bit more aggressive in our pricing, which we may and will, depending on how what kind of challenges do we go through. As you all know, this is the first of its kind, the Enterprise SaaS ready one-click deployment model in the resilience world. And we really want to make it accessible, available to across the industry, irrespective of the size of your business or complexity of your business around, for you to easily adopt the whole resilience management, operational resilience in no time. And we want to be your true partners in taking on the journey of automation towards operational resilience. So this is our major, and we want to make these customers as our brand ambassadors, go work hand in hand with them, make sure we cover the journey with them over the next few years. As you saw on the first opening video statement, we have customers who've been working over many years. Some of them have even got many awards, Recovery of the Year and many other awards. We've been there with them in their thick and thin. And I'll leave the couple of more minutes for questions to be addressed, and I'll stop sharing the screen for now.
There are many questions. I think we're overwhelmed with questions now, but we'll try to answer as many as we can. Some of the questions I can tell you that we'll be seeing a lot of questions where a sales team can come and help you in terms of building that need analysis or sending you the feature list to match the RFIs. So we have that thing. We can send the presentations, and on this website that has been shared, you can have our contact, our sales representative can contact you and answer all of your questions in detail as well. So that's one general message that I want to share. And in case if we miss out on any of the questions, we'll be sending you a reply to your. So any question which is not covered in the session, we'll actually be sending you the answers for those questions as well.
Right. So just the mention of the website is here. You can straight away go and subscribe there. As soon as you subscribe, there is a little KYC. Although we say it'll be done less than 24 hours, but it'll just take a couple of hours for us to come back to you with a login ID. We may, as I said, later point in time, once the whole KYC process is very well supported by the local and other regulations, we may look at minimizing that to a larger extent. Any final comments? And I'll open up Shashi, for you to maybe come on the camera, or Martin, Pushkar, any one of you, just to show of hand so people can reach out to you. Some of you have been answering questions. Shashi, you, Martin, Pushkar. So it'll be good to put up a face to the name among people. We have a very good attendance here. Very, very good questions. So very thankful to all of you for joining in on this one, and look forward. You'll keep hearing from us a lot more. We will continue to strive and do well and make more changes if there are any. But we'll connect up with all of you on a one-to-one on other forums.
Just want to add, I know there are a lot of questions coming in. We will be answering all your questions post the call. We will be also sending our brochure and all the details that you may want to know post this call. And also feel free to reach us, not just for the tool, but anything related to the resilience or business continuity. We will be happy to help you in any way.
And further to that as well, Martin, so feel free to connect, and looking forward to being your partners in resiliency.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I think we started getting thank you messages and good, amazing feedback from people on the messages. So really appreciate your time today. We'll stay here a couple of minutes. So in case anybody has any questions, they want to unmute themselves and ask questions, we are here. We're going to stay back for a couple of minutes. All right. Thank you, everyone. I think we'll drop off, and appreciate everyone's time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.